Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. I just lost my screen. No, I can see you. You can see me. Fingers crossed you can see me, and fingers crossed you can hear me. Yep, looks like it's working. That was a close call for me. Thank you for joining me. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist, here to talk to you about how to find inspiration from people who bog you down. Now, I want to bog you down, then switch off now. Just don't even go there. Just don't even go there. But I would love to know if you're here live or if you're here doing a replay would be fabulous for me. Thank you. And oh gosh, when I think of this title, how to find inspiration from people who bog you down, it definitely has a heavy feel to it. And I think about it and I go, oh, imagine if everybody actually went with what I said. Imagine if I didn't have those uplifting conversations. Imagine if I actually just agreed with everybody or people agreed with me. Now, there's a moment of fantasy of, oh, if only everybody agreed with me, that would be fabulous. But then there's that whole thing of, oh, what a boring world if we're all the same. What a boring world that wouldn't even let me get my juices going about something I'm really, truly inspired about. Because you'll know when you're having that connection with somebody if it's something that gels with them, because they become lit up just like you do, and you can talk and talk and talk for hours, and next thing you know, time's gone by and you've gone, uh-oh, what happened? Where did my day go? So when we think about that, just know that everyone has something or someone who is quite a challenging person, and we're just going to label them challenging at the moment until we get to the end of this video, and we can see that they bog us down because we allow that. For one, we allow that. So you already know people who bog you down, and it could be family, it could be work colleagues, it could be staff, it could be friends, it could be the person at the local dairy. Oh, we say dairy, D-A-I-R-Y in New Zealand, 7-Eleven overseas. In Australia, I'm not sure what else you call it over in America or Canada, but like a little corner store that you can buy your little things on. Spend more time talking about what a dairy means. But when we think about it, everyone has people like that. We do have those around, and we can pick and choose sometimes if we want them there or not. So even when we go to social media is a great one that can stir people up and make them go crazy, including yourself, because there's so much. If we just go to the pandemic in 2020, there, I've just said it. There was negative talk on social media. There was positive talk on social media. And then there was the voyeurs who just kept neutral. Just watch that and watch that and watch that and watch that and came to their own decision. Now, I'm not going to ask you where you stood, if you're a negative person or a positive person or a neutral person. That doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is we got attached to so many things on social media because we didn't go out as much, clearly. And it just stirred us up to be in a crazy, and I'm going to say a crazy place. So we learnt to snooze people on social media for 30 days. We learnt to unfriend people. We learnt to find out what actually was all about them. We learnt about what we thought they were normal people. We would say normal. And then they went on their crazy train. Now, that crazy train is either the negative, positive, or neutral. I'm just saying because we all had a perception of people on those. So it's just being aware of what actually stirred you up. And you'll notice that when people do things to try and bog you down, it's something actually, the more inspired or the more, not inspired, the more juicy you get, the more frustrated you get, is actually saying it's something that's really passionate with you. Now, there's a couple of tips I'm going to give you. So grab your pen and paper. Actually, I'm going to give you more than a couple. Grab your pen and paper because I'm going to talk about ego and humble. And I know I did this recently in a video. Ego is where you just believe everything's right and you're swinging your winger around. You're like, yeah, I'm right. I know more than you. I'm not going to take no for an answer, blah, blah, blah. That's it. Or humble actually is allowing where you're sitting in your heart. There is none of this craziness going on. You're actually just listening to people and you're sitting in your heart more. So be aware of your choices when you make choices to talk to somebody or connect with someone, whether it's on the phone, whether it's here, anything. So just be aware of, are you sitting in ego or are you sitting in humble? Because I can guarantee the more you sit in ego, the more the universe is going to take you out and teach you what humble is all about. Nobody has catastrophic events when they're sitting in that humble space. They're sitting there and they can actually work things out. So that catastrophic event is just an event if you're sitting in a humble space. But if you're sitting in ego, you can label it catastrophic. And truthfully, it's actually just an event. It just depends on your emotion, what's going on. So let's have a look at their energy for number one. Their energy is they have ancestral stories like you. We all have these stories that we attach to, but they are their stories. And when I say ancestral stories, there is something that has happened in the past that they've seen or heard that's attaching to them. Oh, my mum said that money doesn't grow on trees, so I'm going to hold on to that. Okay, believe that money doesn't grow on trees. So money visually doesn't grow on trees if you're looking for a note, but there's lemons that grow on trees that you can sell. There's different things that grow on trees that you can sell. And I say lemons because we've got these two most beautiful lemon trees that we've got so much lemon in the house it's driving us a little bit crazy. But that's what I'm talking about, those stories. So they have their ancestral stories just like you. So don't take their stories on. Don't take their stories on. And the way to get through people like that, which I'm going to talk about a little more, is kill them with kindness. Now, don't be overly kind that you're sitting in ego-driven, but actually just be pleasant. Just speak from the heart. And that's that kindness is actually just generally, I'm thinking about you and I'm just going to continue doing this. I'm not going to listen to your crazy stories because I don't believe them. And you can label them crazy, whatever. You don't have to tell them they're crazy. But it's just their stories, their ancestral stories. That's all they are. And you're just going to kill them with kindness for what feels right for you. And I love that Brit's actually just mentioned, for me, it is friends who prefer to live in their victimhood to overcoming issues. It can be frustrating to see assistance that people refuse to consider. Absolutely, absolutely. But you cannot push a wet noodle. Oh, now that's a thought. You cannot push a wet noodle. And if you're considering pushing a wet noodle, you're only going to spiral into more and more frustration. So go and try and push that wet noodle. Actually go and do it. And then get the spaghetti noodle out and try and push it. And I guarantee you're going to go, oh. And when something happens next time, just go, you know what? I'm not going to push that wet noodle. This is their life. I'm all for my life. Because your life is 100% more important than their life. For them, their life is 100% more important than your life. So there's another thing about your energy. Oh, Aaron's joined us from Antarctica. Hey, by the way, Aaron, it's about 19 degrees outside, still a little bit cold, and it's 10:45 in the morning here in New Zealand because I know he's in Antarctica and I know that's going to be cold. Would be the nice way. Thanks for joining us. So now going back to your energy. Now, to protect your energy, you must set your intention. And you've got to protect yourself from that. So we've got Christmas coming up very soon, and we all know that there's going to be family that you don't want to go to or hang around with or any of those things, or even friends or colleagues at work that there's a big booze up and you don't drink or whatever it is. So just set your intention to protect yourself. So you're going to say, I'm going to have an amazing night tonight. All you got to do is just do it once, set your intention. I'm going to have an amazing night tonight or day today. And the things that people throw at me, I'm not going to catch. Simple as that. You don't need to say it constantly over and over. You don't need to ping yourself with a rubber band. You don't need to smack your forehead and remind yourself of these things. Just set your intention once and it's done. It has been heard. So you're protecting yourself from those people until you're strong enough to actually not even have to set that intention. Know that your energy is important. So what are you giving out? If you're giving out a-wholeness, you know, if you're giving out the punches, what do you think is going to come back? Often the punches. So what are you giving out? If you're giving out love and speaking from the heart, you're going to get that back. So what are you giving out? Be aware of your energy. Someone's talking to you and you're rolling your eyes. They're going to know that. They're going to feel that. Even if they're down the phone, they're going to get that. So what is that energy that you're giving out? Be aware of your energy. If you'd like them to change, you must change your attitude towards them. So if you see them, if you used to see them as an a-hole and now you see them as a beautiful person because you've come to complete love and gratitude and they're sitting in your heart and you can't see anything wrong with them and you just see them as pure love doing their own thing, which is where we love everybody to be because we're not trying to change them, they start changing. They actually start changing and they're no longer that abrupt person, that negative person there, whatever, because you've taken ownership of you in that role. And that's really important, to take ownership of you in that role. And that's around your energy that you're giving out. One of my other ones is, and we know these, I've talked about this before, is the 4 agreements. And one of them is don't take things personally. Don't take things personally. Don't take things personally. Because you don't know what they're dealing with in their world. You don't know what they're dealing with in their world. So don't take it personally if they say, I can't do it now. Or you're really good at this. Don't take it personally. Or you're no good at this. Okay, you know, I cooked a lovely meal. I thought it was a lovely meal for my partner last night, and she didn't like it. And she was like, oh, this is a little bit different. And I didn't realize there was one ingredient that I absolutely love, and she didn't like it. So when I said to her, don't eat it, she was like, oh, no, I need to eat it. You cooked it for me. And I was like, no, I'd rather have you happy and full than anything else. So did I take that personally? No. But what I love is now I know she doesn't like a lot of ginger in her meals, and of course I overdose the ginger because I love ginger. So don't take things personally when people say things to you. It's just their opinion, and I'm so grateful she shared that with me because now I won't overload ginger if I cook for her again. And just for the record, I don't really like cooking, so I stay in my zone, but this week I've just dabbled out and I've learnt a few things. So don't take things personally. That's the key there. And the other thing I'm going to say is when we talk about your energy is, do you think they're actually trying to bog you down? Do you think they're going out of their way to take you out? Because people's intentions are not what you sometimes see. You may think they're going to say this to be mean to you, but in reality they're saying it because it was easier to say it, or it was best to get it off their chest. They're not saying it often to be an a-hole to you. They're just saying because they can speak freely. And that's a gift that someone can speak freely around you. So it's about being grateful that they can actually share that with you. There's another thing I'd like to talk about, and it's called hearsay. And hearsay is something that, as someone said, you're mean. You used to do this. So hearsay is who you were in the back and listening to those stories. Did you know what so-and-so did last week? No, it's hearsay. I'm not interested in what so-and-so did last week. Knowing that you have changed from school, you've changed from last year, you've changed from yesterday, you've changed from 2020 when the world changed very quickly at a rapid rate. You are not the same person as you were last week or yesterday, because things come in and they change us, and we're either on that train of evolving in life or we're not. And if we're not, we're staying stagnant. So be aware of those things. Now, I talked a little bit about in your energy, I talked a little bit about protecting yourself. Boundaries, and I'm going to use the word boundaries, which I don't like the word boundaries, but boundaries are 100% important. They are about protecting yourself. So I know I talked about protect yourself from those boundaries. Set that intention, you can walk away. Just be aware of your boundaries, because they're just something that keeps coming up to people. Oh, I know what it is. I allowed this person in and I shouldn't have, or I knew at the start it wasn't going to be right. Now, I don't take every client who comes to me. I don't take an offer to every client who comes to me, because some people I know aren't going to handle the way I talk. Sometimes I talk really fast. Sometimes I laugh a lot. Sometimes I even snort if I'm in a right role of laughing. Sometimes I'll swear. Sometimes I'll be abrupt. Sometimes I'll be gentle. Sometimes I'll be kind. Sometimes I'll use my stiletto kick. And other times I won't stiletto kick. I'll gently just nudge. There's lots of things. So for me, I know the type of person who I can work with. I can definitely talk to everybody, but sometimes if I'm going to take them into a session, there's going to be people who aren't going to gel with me. Now, you know those people, so set that boundary, that they're not going to come into your sphere, that you're just going to see them as who they are, and you don't have to attach to those things. So there's a famous word that is often not used because we're fearful of it, and it's a 2-letter word. N-O. 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 And it's called no. So no is a great word to use if it doesn't feel right and it doesn't light you up. So practice using it, because it's a great one that we can evolve from. And there's always a way you can say no with ease. I've actually got a video. I don't even know why I was looking down. I've got a video I've talked about the no thing. If I can find it, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. But no is a great word that eliminates stress from you and others. Now, you may think when someone says no to you, you go into stress mode. No, you don't. You go into strategy mode. Strategy. Let's strategize. Let's find out what's the best solution instead of that. Now, we've talked about boundaries. The other one is revenge. And I say this, I think I can do a whole topic on revenge. So there's a karma. There's a karma. There's a karma that's out there that people talk about. And I know my mum used to say to me, every dog has their day. But you don't have to be around to see that day. You don't have to be around to see that day. Just know that they're living their life. They're doing the best they can with what they've got. And you're here to live yours. Remember that, can't push a wet noodle. So when it comes to revenge, that word, know that right now they are renting space in your head for free. And that was a great meme I saw many years ago on Facebook. It was actually about renting headspace for free, because they're not asking for it. They're just taking away all that headspace. So let that go. For me, the greatest form of revenge is success. Be successful in what they said you can't do. But don't do it for them. Do it for yourself, because that's where you're going to get the greatest fulfillment. And when I think about that, I think about a breather. So give yourself a breather. And that is, whatever lights you up, do more of it. And I constantly say about my glitter bomb, if you not have a glitter bomb around you, then there's clearly a problem. So let's get that glitter bomb around you. But what lights you up? If it's the people you want to hang around with, then go and hang around with those people. If it's not those people, if you go to a networking event and you go every month and there's someone that you don't like, don't sit next to them. Go to another place at the other end of the table. But you know what? If you actually probably got to know them, you might quite like them anyway. But only if your energy is right. So give yourself that breather. Do more of whatever lights you up, because the key is to stay in that lit up lifestyle 24/7 as much as we can. No, you've also got to have that little sleep and the rest of it. Just a couple more things, people. I just would like to talk about intuition very quickly. And intuition is always there telling you the truth. So if you're worried about people around you who are going to bog you down, use your intuition. It tells you the truth 100% if you're going to stay with those people, if they're going to be sideswiping you off, anything like that. And so have that trust in everything. Have that trust in the universe, have that trust in yourself, have that trust in others. Have that trust, because the trust will always get you through. And that intuition is taking you out of here and into your heart. And this is where we want to be making decisions from, for those around us. And the last one. You know I'm going to mention the last one. And the last one is G. Starts with G. Gratitude. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I know I've mentioned this once in this video, maybe twice. So be aware of your gratitude. What are you grateful for of these people? You're grateful that they're giving you insights into them. They're grateful that they're giving you insights into you. They're grateful they're giving you insights into your life. They're grateful they're giving you insights to others they're talking about, or energy-wise. Be grateful for everything that is around you, because that is the way to get through and stop any chaotic mess that's going on. If I was to give you one tip, gratitude. From that gratitude, I'm going to give you one more tip, and that's called stay authentic. Don't change for people. Change for yourself if it's your desire, but don't change for people, but stay authentic and to your truth of who you are. Oh, and that's Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist, signing off for today. Thank you very much for joining me on how to find inspiration from people who bog you down. Woo-hoo-hoo, shaking it off, shaking it off. Thanks very much. If you've got any questions, let me know. Other than that, I will see you next time here on a video. Thanks, people. Bye.